From the air, it looks like a landscape from a Western. But we're miles away from the vast plains of America. This is deep in the Lubéron, the Colorado provençal. On the Ochre Trail, you come across strange sculptures, fairy chimneys, and deep defiles. Every year, 300,000 tourists venture through these 30 very atypical hectares.
It's magnificent. The contrast with the landscape is absolutely stunning. It's totally unexpected.
It's art. Art in its purest state. It's a real treat on the eye.
It's really nice. It's like a small Mars in France. It's like a trip to cosmos. A tiny one, a short one.
In the regional language provençal, as in Spanish, Colorado means colored. Here, the hills are colored red, gold, and white. It's a completely natural phenomenon and is due to the presence of a sea here millions of years ago.
These colors come from a slow geological degradation more than 200 million years ago, with the oxidation of iron which was contained in the clay and which was brought in by the inland sea that was here back then.
So ochre is naturally rust-colored. And since prehistoric times, humans discovered they could use it as a pigment for painting because the colors last forever.
When you rub it, the sand and other materials come away. And here I have red ochre on this fingertip. Just next to it is a vein of yellow ochre. I rub it, the sand comes away, and I have yellow ochre on my other fingertip. These same pigments, used since the dawn of time, were used notably for Renaissance paintings.
But although the colors are natural, it was humans who created this landscape by mining ochre on an industrial scale, starting in the 19th century. The workers started by separating the ochre and sand using artificial runoff, which very gradually eroded these crumbly cliffs of clay. Then, with their strength and their bare hands, they made bricks. The Colorado provençal was one of the largest exporters of ochre in the world. This meant that the workers had to dig deeper and deeper. Underground in Rustrel, there are dozens of mines like this one, which used to produce up to 50,000 tons of ochre a year. For geologist David Chalier, these vast tunnels bear witness to the Herculean task carried out by the workers back in the day.
This mine dates from the late 1800s to the early 1900s. Above ground, there's a winch which is still here and which was installed in 1923, along with all the other tooling in the factory part. So all that was at the peak of industrialization, here in the Pays d'Apt.
Above ground, there are still a great number of remains from this period, like the old ochre factory which David would like to turn into a museum.
So this is the Bonnet factory.
Time seems to have stood still.
This is the stencil room. So these letters represent J for jaune, yellow, TF for très foncé, deep red, L for lavé, washed, E for extra, and S for super. All the different qualities produced here which were used in the rubber industry and which were exported to Rio de Janeiro, London, San Francisco.
Claire joined the industrial adventure when she was very young. She worked in this quarry, which belonged to her father and which she inherited.
When I first came here, I was 7, and my sisters were 2 years older than me. It was a magnificent business, magnificent. I was an ochre washer, a job I learned from my father, but it was very hard work.
With the advent of artificial dyes after the Second World War, the ochre industry fell into decline. But in the meantime, the whole region was painted in its colors. A few miles from the Colorado provençal is Roussillon, one of France's most beautiful villages. It owes much to this ochre that still adorns its walls. Here, the Ochre Eco-Museum perpetuates the history of the pigment which gives the region its character.
This is the substance you've been walking on all day. I'm just mixing it with some white.
In the Discovery Workshop, children become acquainted with the ancestral techniques.
Nice and easy, as if you were caressing it. That's it.
Slides on easily.
Quite easily, yes. There's a childlike, playful side to it. It's like a game, mixing the colours that appear when you add the water.
The reds and golds of the Colorado Provençal tell of a 230 million year history. That of a colorful geological heritage and the resourcefulness of humans, leaving us with a feast for our eyes.